20th, because he was off the track when he was running in the top 3, I think, early on in his second heat. Got involved in an incident and lost a lap, but his results really should have been better than they were. And so from the 9th row of the grid, that's another one to watch coming through. And what we don't know about is Cristiano Magado, because we know he's very quick in the wet. In the dry, he wasn't so quick in qualifying. He was okay, but he wasn't one of the very front runners in qualifying on Friday in these dry conditions. But then he had a clutch problem, so we haven't really seen the best of Cristiano Magado in dry conditions. So we don't know whether the triple world champion who starts 7th on the grid is going to go forwards or backwards in this race. I guess we're about to find out. So all 34 of them out on track for a couple of formation laps for the DD2 pre-final here at Laghi in Italy, in northern Italy, for the second round of the Rotax Euro Challenge 2013. We've been to Belgium, we're here in Italy. This is the first of our point scoring races, very shortly about to get underway. After this, in July, we'll be in the UK, we'll be in England at PFI, the Paul Fletcher International Race Circuit up in Lincolnshire. And then the 4th and final round of the championship takes us to France, to Sulbury in September. So an important round this. Halfway in the championship already at the end of this weekend, so drivers really needing to score points here to either get in contention or stay in contention. Mika Laiho, just to remind you, is the championship leader on 89 points. The Finnish driver is in kart 602. He starts this 10th. French Kanchar, the Hungarian, is second in the championship on 82 points. French starts on the second row of the grid in kart 629. And Sean Babington is third in the championship with 81 points. And Sean starts from the third row of the grid in kart 638. But Ken, they're about to come towards us. They're all starting to form up now. And you're going to talk us through the start of what I think is going to be a fantastic race here in Italy.
Well, thank you, Chris, and just like yourself, really warmed to this one, not least because it's not just a pre-final, it's not just the start of the championship point-scoring races, it's what you touched upon just then, the unknown factors, the guys that were really stunning in the pouring rain. What about in the dry sunshine and the warm tarmac? Coming round nice and steadily. Credit to Seamus Judovicius and Senderuva, the front row men, bringing them round very, very steadily. This ought to be a first-timer. 13 laps, remember, in the pre-final in DD2. And we're racing. Oh, and a little bunny hop by Seamus Judovicius at the start. And that did not serve him well. Just at the moment the race started, Seamus just did that little bunny hop. Took a little bit of weight away, may have been a deliberate move, but it's been punished immediately by Senderuva, and Senderuva getting himself 2.5 kart lengths clear of Seamus Judovicius, the pole sitter, on the opening lap. Third place driver looks like Alexander Finkelstein, although I wouldn't, Chris is a lot more sharp than myself and has picked up that it was the French double champion third. So they're the 1, 2, 3. And have to say, the start by Senderuva, as with a couple of starts yesterday, a very, very thoughtful one. Definitely a fast racing driver with an inherent racer's instinct, but he thinks about every angle, well deserves his lead at the end of the opening lap in front of Seamus Judovicius. Alex Finkelstein third, Ferenc Kanchar fourth, Lucas Orrock fifth, as we set off on lap 2.
Good start by Lucas Orrock into the top 6 for the British driver already. Sean Babington is on the tail of Kevin Ludi in the battle for 6th place. You can see them now coming through nose to tail onto the back straight, and with the blue colour scheme, Sean Babington having a look up the inside, but then feigns it, dives back out of the slipstream. Can't quite get through though. So he's Kevin Ludi with a very good start to the race from the third row of the grid. He's looking strong there in 6th position. Magado is the best of the Masters. He's in 8th place. He picked up a place or two as well off the start. Matthias Titij is in the top 10. Mika Laiho, the championship leader, didn't get a great start, and he's down in 13th place. The two to watch coming through, Cooper and Lennox Lamb, 15th and 16th respectively over the start-finish line. Go the leaders. A bit of a gap developing now. Senderuva, the Belgian driver, is half a tenth quicker on that lap. He's 4 tenths quicker than Judovicius. And then Finkelstein third, Kanchar in 4th place. Lucas Orrock is pulling away now from Sean Babington in the battle for 6 as they go onto the back straight for the third time, Ken.
Yes, and even spread between those top half dozen drivers, and it doesn't look as if we've got too much close dicing at the moment. Just going through kart 624, Chris Dryspring was one of 4 people who had an issue early on. Another one was Igor Mukin, who just goes through. The Russian who worked so hard in the last chance race to make it to here has had an issue early on. But Zenderuva had a lead of 0.4 of a second over Seamus Judovicius at the end of lap 2. At the end of lap 3, the gap is increased to 0.5 of a second. So as Chris Hartley said, Zenderuva finding a little bit more speed in the dry than Seamus Judovicius. Alex Finkelstein still running in 3rd place. No change of position in the top 9, but Mika Laiho getting up to the top 10 in 10th place. Ben Cooper 11th. And the guy who spilt the places, not sure who it was. The suggestion is it was Martin Steinitz, although I'm not 100% sure that he was there. However, Mikolaiho 10, just behind him, Ben Cooper. Must keep the eye on that one. And
can a change for 4th. Lucas Orrick has just gone up the inside of Frank Kansar there to get 4th place away. Frank was being held up a little bit by Alex Finkelstein. They're all starting to queue up behind the Frenchman now in the battle for 3rd place. So through comes Zenderuva. Second now is Universis. Kansar actually already got through, didn't he? Orrick has got through. And Finkelstein.
Babington putting the pressure on as well.
Is 6th place. Babington goes through. Sean Babington on the way into turn 3 now. Moves ahead of Alex Finkelstein. That puts him up to 5th place. So Finkelstein going backwards. He's dropped down to 6th place now.
And already in the sights of Kevin Ludi. Perhaps not quite as readily as he was in the sights of Sean Babington. But you're quite right. Finkelstein, after that good start, in danger of dropping another place shortly.
He is, yeah. Matthias Tatij 8th. Magado 9th. Mikolaiho back up to 10th. Ben Cooper coming from a long way down the field from 21st. He's now up to 11th place. Jordan Lennox Lamb has picked a place or 2 more up as well. Jordan in kart 661 is now up into 13th place. Magado is the leading master. Magnetti in 15th place is 2nd within the category. And Dennis Kroos, 22nd overall, is 3rd within that category, just ahead of Flo Lambert. So through they go. The fastest lap of the race has gone to Jordan Lennox Lamb. Zenderuva in front of the commentary box makes his way through turn 4 as the race leader. Universis in 2nd place. French Kansar has looked very comfortable so far this season, looking good in 3rd. 4th is Lucas Orrick, and Lucas has just done his fastest lap of the race, almost exactly matching the lap time of Kansar in 4th place. And on a very, very similar pace is Babington. They're all within a few hundredths of a second of each other. Kansar, Orrick and Babington 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Indeed, no change of position in the first 8 places on the lap 5 would have been the half race distance through the heats, but we're not yet at halfway. But Mikolaiho climbing to 9th and Ben Cooper into the top 10. And Chris Magado, although he's dropped places on the circuit, still leads the championship category. This is the start of lap 7, and Zenderuva's lead is now quite significant, 0.8 of a second. There's plenty of racing in a 13-lap race when we're only just starting lap 7, but 0.8 of a second and a lot of empty tarmac in front of you is a big, big advantage. Zenderuva very philosophical yesterday when he talked to Sarah, saying, well, yes, I'm not as fast as Seamus in the wet. Maybe it'll be different tomorrow. He'd got half an eye on the weather forecast, and so it is. Ferenc Kankshar maintaining the good form that he's had this year. Very, very tall driver. Well, not very, very tall. We reserve that for Seamus Judovicius at 2 metres tall. But Ferenc Kankshar certainly no shorty. Zenderuva, pretty much a medium build, but a lot taller than me. Sets off now on lap 8. So we go past the halfway stage by a little margin now. And his advantage over Seamus Judovicius, 1.192, but Jordan Lennox Lamb has just set a new fastest lap, 48.529, but it doesn't yet drive him into the top 10. No change of position in the top 12, but Paddy Pierce has gone past Chris Magado into 13th, and now, although Chris Magado still leads the Masters, the guy behind him is Alessandro Manetti, and if Chris was to lose another place, Alessandro would be the best of the Masters. Magado 1, Manetti 2, and Kroos 3 in the Masters category. Zenderuva leading Seamus Judovicius and Ferenc Kankshar as they come round to start lap 9.
Some battle starting to develop now because Ferenc Kankshar is quicker than Seamus Judovicius at the moment in the battle for 2nd place. They go into turn 1, the gap comes down still further. And you can see the race leader about to go into the left-hander. That's Derua. Then second and third, the gap coming down between Universis and Kansar, and a battle for fourth as well between the two Brits. Lucas Orrock being caught now, being stalked by Sean Babington, and a battle for seventh also because Matthias de Tige is starting to come into the mix now in the battle for seventh place with Kevin Ludi. The race leaders go down through the end of the back straight, no change there. And coming up now to the right-hand hairpin, are we going to see any more changes? It's getting very hustly and bustly. They're coming up to lap back markers in this race as well. One or two straddlers have already lapped Igor Mukin, who got well out of the way. To be fair to the Russian driver, he stepped well out of the way. Zenderuva's lead continues to increase. Over the line he goes now. He's got something like a 3-second lead, hasn't he? 2.5 second lead over Universis. Kansar has fallen back away in third place. Lucas Orrock in fourth place, coming under pressure now from Sean Babington in fifth place. Alex Finkelstein, the French driver, closing in as well. Then you got a three-way battle for seventh between Kevin Ludi and then the reigning champion Matthias de Tige and the current championship leader Mika Laiho. Sean Babington trying at the end of the back straight to pick up a place, but he can't yet quite find a way ahead of Lucas Orrock. But the two to watch are the 1 and 2 from last year, de Tige and Laiho from 8th and 9th. And look, Lennox Lamb are now ahead of Ben Cooper and into 10th, they're 10th and 11th respectively.
What a fabulous battle. Matthias de Tige, the champion. Laiho, the championship leader. Lennox Lamb, a European champion in other classes. Ben Cooper, world champion. They're 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th, and they're having a great dice, as Chris says. Zenderuva has now got 2 3/4 seconds on the field. And it's one of those occasions where, as a commentator, you can't really do him justice because you've almost got to ignore Zenderuva and look at Laiho and Ludi trading places. So Mika Laiho going up on Kevin Ludi, who rather lost momentum when he looked at one time as if he might got into 6th place. So the Spirit Racing driver from Switzerland just struggling a little bit. And let me have a look. Kevin Ludi not too far in front of Jordan Lennox Lamb, the driver who still holds the fastest lap in the race at 48.5. This is lap 11 of a 13-lap pre-final. Not long to go. And coming round to start lap 12, Zenderuva got the biggest part of 3 seconds of a lead.
Yeah, fastest man on the track is Jordan Lennox Lamb, as quick as the race leader, quicker than everybody else in this race. There's been a change for the Masters class lead. Magnetti has just moved ahead of Magado. Magado falling back a bit at the moment. Zenderuva with
Paddy Pierce splitting them as well.
Yes, that's right. Zenderuva with the big lead now going onto the back straight. He has looked very, very good this weekend. Universis looks fairly comfortable in second. Kanshar's fallen back away from him in third position. There over the top of the screen into the right hand hairpin you can see the leader, and the rest of them just firing their way through in now. So Kanshar not really worried about Universis at the moment. I think he's more worried about trying to keep Lucas Orrock and Sean Babington behind him. They're pretty close to him, but nobody quite yet close enough to attack one another. Finkelstein 6th, Mika Laiho has come up to 7th, Matthias de Tige has come up to 8th. They've both, as Ken said, moved ahead of Kevin Ludi, who's now down to 9th place. Zenderuva looking comfortable up front. Now, the international symbol for Let's Catch the Leader has just been shown to Universis, been shown by Kanshar. Kanshar pointed forward. Let's not battle each other. Let's try and catch Zenderuva, he says. How long have they got left? Not long.
3/4 of a lap.
3/4 of a lap. It's not going to happen, is it? So, Kanshar, I think, is he settling for third place, or is he going to have one more go to
I
get
think
the
he's
position?
going to have a punt at him, Chris. I'll keep my eye on as you look at the field in the bigger picture.
Okay, leader coming out then towards the right-hand hairpin at turn number 11. He's got this one sorted. Kanshar looks to the outside for second place. They're queuing up behind him. He's got to be careful not to leave the door open. Here he's right on the tail of Universis as they go into the left-hand hairpin. Everybody else queuing up behind him. The race leader comes through the final turn now, and Zenderuva wins here in Italy. Wins the pre-final. Handsome victory by him. Second is going to be Universis, just about from Kanshar, and Lucas Orrock right on their tail at the end of all that. Second, third and fourth cross the line with a little over 0.2 of a second separating all three carts. Sean Babington 5th. Mika Laiho came through after a poor start to the race when he was 13th at the end of lap 1. He comes through to finish in 6th. Matthias de Tige is 7th. Alexander Finkelstein was overtaken by both of them at the end of the race, so he dropped to 8th place. Lennox Lamb from the 9th row of the grid with a good effort let Jordan Lennox Lamb to come home in 9th place. Kevin Ludi dropped behind him on the final lap, so Kevin dropped down to 10th place. And Ben Cooper, despite the very good first few laps, only ends up down in 11th place. And as for the Masters, Ken, Alessandro Manetti, with a pretty late move, couple of laps from the end, gets ahead of Magado and then puts a few carts in between them. So Cristiano Magado, I think, struggling a bit for pace at the end of the race.
I think he would be disappointed with that. Alexandra Mineta winning and coming through from 20th place to do so.
So, a fantastic victory by Zendarua. He's barely got off the circuit, but already with the roving microphone, Sarah Dryhurst is ready to talk to him.
Yes, thanks. I'm here with Zendarua. A fantastic race. Started second in the first lap and then held that first position for the rest of the way.
Yeah, I saw that Simas had a difficult start, so I could take the lead in the first corner. And I managed to keep that lead all the way. So, yeah, just didn't look back and I went for the finish. So, yeah, good result.
So this sets you now in pole position for the final. You feeling confident?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very well with the chassis. Everything works well. I like the track, so the level is high, so everything can happen. But I'll start the final with a good feeling.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, Zendarua always willing to give us a word or two or three or four or five, and never more so than when he's just won a race convincingly. But hey, it was a magnificent performance by Zendarua. There were a lot of good drivers in there, and he beat them all by 4.6 seconds or more. Only 0.25 of a second between second, third and fourth, and very, very tight down the rest of the top 10 in their groupings of racers. Some big names down the order, as we said in commentary. But going forward to the final for a start on pole position, the Belgian from Antwerp has been at university in Spain. Zendarua, a fabulous win.
Two classes within the DD2 category, and in 13th place, but winning the Masters category overall, was Alessandro Minetti. He's with Sarah.
Well, I'm here with Alessandro Minetti, who is the leading master now, came in 13th position.
Yes, I'm very glad to be here to make the race, and I'm very happy about the race. I started in the back because yes, I have some problem in the last hit. So I think I did a pretty good time, but I still have some problem with the engine. It's all the week and I don't find the good setting for the engine, but the chassis was amazing. So I hope to gain some more place in the final.
Now Cristiano Morgado will be pushing you. How are you feeling about that?
I'm very happy. I'm a friend with Morgado. We did some race in Florida this year. He's a really good driver. I'm happy that he came with us in Praga team.
Best of luck to you. Well done.
Bye.
Well, there on the screen you can see how that result has affected the championship standings. Mika Laiho still leads the way, but instead of a 7-point advantage, he's now got a 4-point advantage. So Mika Laiho leads, but by a reduced margin, because Frank Canchart just took more points in that race than he did. Frank was in third place in the race. Mika was sixth, so that gap closes up. And Zendarua, with that result, has gone from fifth up to third place in the championship. In fact, they're joint second, aren't they? Because they've both got 114 points. Sean Babington has dropped a place down to fourth position with 111 points. Ben Cooper, fifth in the standings after that result with 101. And Sandro Lukovic has dropped from fourth down to sixth place. Matthias De Tige on the same points as him with 100 points each. And that good result there for Lucas Orrock has put Lucas up from 15th to 11th in the championship standings. So a Finn, a Hungarian, a Belgian, a Brit, a Canadian and an Austrian, 6 different nationalities at the top of the table.
Just looking at those championship standings, Chris, the loss of those 2 places late in the race by Alex Finkelstein has probably dropped him from 5th in the standings to 8th.
Yes.
Because look, there's only 4 points covering those 5 drivers.
Yeah, absolutely right. And well, Chris Sturken will have fallen back as well, won't he? Because he had to come via the second chance heat. None of those guys that came through the second chance heat made too much progress. Chris, I think, was the best of them from toward the back, because he didn't win the second chance heat, did he? So he started on the penultimate row of the grid.
He was actually running outside a qualifying position for half the race.
That's right.
It was late on, wasn't it, that he came through?
So he came through a bit, but 24th place. But none of them really kind of stormed through the order. And Ika Mukin, having had one good race this weekend, which was the second chance heat, had more bad luck and finished 31st. 3 non-finishers were Steiner, Zenkin and Olsen.
Yeah, Nicky Olsen, who won that second chance race very convincingly. The one good thing for the likes of Igor Mukin is he does go to the final, and of course with the Masters broadly starting towards the back of the grid. There are championship points to be raced for, so it's still a very live racing day for Igor Mukin, albeit no doubt he's a touch disappointed, having finished that race well to the back.
That's right. So good stuff from DD2. If you tuned in online at RGMMC TV, via the website RGMMC